buried to her neck for infertility, until Apache Widower with 4 kids dug her out and took her home. Her eyes opened to red dirt and sun. Nothing else. Just red dirt pressed against her jaw, her neck, her chin. The taste of earth filled her mouth. She tried to move. Nothing moved. Only her eyes. Only her breath. Mama. A small voice somewhere above her. Mama, there's a lady. I see her. A man's voice, deep, careful. Step back now. She blinked. Shadows moved across her vision. 4 small shapes, 1 large one. The sun burned her eyes, but she couldn't close them. Couldn't look away. The man knelt beside her face. Dark skin, dark eyes. Lines around those eyes, like he'd spent years squinting into wind. Can you hear me? His voice was soft now. Close, she tried to speak. Dirt fell from her lips. Don't try to talk yet. He stood. Kids, get the shovels from the wagon. All of them, Pa. A girl's voice. Maybe 10 years old. All of them. And the water jug, footsteps scattered. Running feet. The man knelt again. His hands touched the dirt around her neck. Testing, feeling. How long you been here? She moved her lips. No sound came. Long time, I'd guess. He started digging with his hands. Careful, slow. Don't worry. We'll get you out. The children returned. She heard metal hitting earth. 4 shovels working around her. The man's hands never stopped. Never hurried. Never rough. Easy now, he said to the children. Don't want to hurt her. She gonna die, Pa? A boy's voice, young, maybe 6. No, she's not gonna die. How do you know? Because I said so. More dirt fell away from her shoulders, her arms. She felt blood returning to places that had forgotten blood. The pain was sharp, clean, real, there. The man's hands found her waist. Can you feel your arms? She tried to nod. Managed it barely. Good, we're almost there. He looked at his children. Mary, get that blanket from the wagon. Boys, keep digging at her legs. Careful now. What's her name, Pa? The girl called Mary. Don't know yet. The man pulled dirt away from her ribs. We'll ask when she can answer. The sun moved overhead. The digging continued. Gentle hands. Patient hands. Hands that knew how to fix broken things. Her body emerged from the earth inch by inch. Like being born backward. Like climbing out of her own grave. Almost free, the man whispered. Almost home. The cabin smelled like wood smoke and cornbread. She sat wrapped in a blanket at a rough wooden table. Her hands shook around a tin cup of water. The 4 children stood against the far wall, watching, waiting. Drink slow, the man said. Your stomach needs time, she sipped. The water was cold, clean. It burned going down her throat. Thank you. You're welcome. He sat across from her. I'm Samuel. She looked at him. Really looked. His face was kind, tired, like he'd carried heavy things for a long time. What's your name? She opened her mouth, closed it. Tried again, Martha. The smallest boy stepped forward. Martha like the lady in town who makes pies. No, Tommy, Samuel said. Different Martha. How come she was buried? The girl Mary asked. Hush now. Samuel's voice was firm but gentle. Let her rest, Martha touched her throat. When had she last said her own name? Not yesterday. Not the day before. Not when they dragged her to the pit. She'd screamed other things then. Curses, pleas, but not her name. 3 days, she whispered. What? I haven't said my name in 3 days. Samuel nodded like this made sense to him. Like he understood things that shouldn't make sense. Well, you said it now. The children moved closer. Mary had her father's dark eyes. The boys looked like steps on a staircase. Tommy, maybe 6. The middle boy, 8 or 9. The oldest, a girl of 14 with braided hair. This is Mary, Samuel said. That's Ben, that's Jake, and Tommy you met. Hello, Martha said. Hello, they said back. Soft. Careful. Are you going to stay? Tommy asked. Tommy. Samuel's warning was quiet. It's okay. Martha looked at the boy. I don't know yet. You can have my bed, Mary said. I'll sleep with Sarah. Sarah? My oldest. Samuel's voice changed, heavier. She's outside, checking the horses. Martha nodded. Outside, safe place to be when strangers arrived. Smart girl. Thank you, Martha said to Mary. That's very kind. The cabin felt warm, full, like a place where people said each other's names every day. Where voices mattered, where speaking wasn't dangerous. Martha, she said again, just to hear it. Just to remember, night came fast. Martha lay in Mary's small bed, fever burning through her skin. Samuel sat in a chair beside her. The children slept in the next room. Her voice came in whispers. They said I was cursed. Who said? The council. Mayor Briggs. Sheriff Coleman. All of them. Samuel dipped a cloth in cool water. Pressed it to her forehead. Why? No sons. The words scraped her throat raw. Married 8 years. No sons. What about daughters? 3. All died before their first winter. Samuel's hand stilled. The cloth dripped onto the pillow. I'm sorry. My husband said it was God's judgment. Said I was barren by choice. By sin. That's not true. Council agreed with him. Said a woman who can't bear sons is dangerous. Said I was turning the land sour. The fever made everything sharp. Too bright. She could see the council room like she was still there. The long table. The men in their good coats. Her husband standing behind them. What did they do? Vote. 12 men. Guilty of cursing the town's fertility. Guilty of what? Being empty. Being broken. Being a wife who couldn't do the one thing wives are for. Samuel set the cloth aside. His hands were steady, but his voice shook. So they buried you. Alive. Said if I was really innocent, God would send someone to dig me out before I died. And if you were guilty, I'd die and the curse would die with me. The room spun. Martha gripped the blanket. My husband watched. He brought our neighbors to watch. Said it was righteous, Jesus. 3 days and 3 nights they gave me. Said that's how long Jesus was in the tomb. Said if I was pure, I'd rise on the 3rd day. You did rise, because you found me. Not because of purity, not because of God. Samuel stood, walked to the window, looked out at the dark. Where is your husband now? At home, I suppose. With his new wife. Already pregnant, they say. And the council? Still running the town. Still deciding who lives and who dies. Samuel turned back to her. Something had changed in his face. Something hard and final. Not anymore. What do you mean? I mean they made a mistake. What mistake? They buried you where I could find you. Martha woke to the smell of burned porridge. Sarah stood at the stove, 14 years old, and trying to feed 3 younger siblings. Smoke filled the cabin. Here. Martha sat up slowly. Let me help. Pa said you need rest. Pa's not here. Martha stood on shaky legs. Where is he? Checking traps. Won't be back till evening. Martha moved to the stove, scraped the burned mess into a bucket, started fresh porridge with steady hands. You know how to cook? Tommy asked. I know how to cook. Better than Sarah. Tommy, Sarah warned. It's okay. Martha stirred the pot. Everyone burns things sometimes. Ben sat at the table, mending a torn shirt with clumsy stitches. Martha watched him struggle with the needle. Want me to show you a better way? He nodded. She sat beside him, guided his small fingers. Like this. See? Smaller stitches, stronger. Ma used to sew. Jake said quietly. I bet she was good at it. She was good at everything. Martha kept her hands moving, steady, patient. I'm sure she was. The porridge bubbled. Sarah set bowls on the table. Martha served each child, testing the temperature first, making sure it wasn't too hot. You don't have to take care of us, Sarah said. I want to. Why? Martha looked at the girl, saw herself at 14, stubborn, protective, afraid of needing anyone, because you're taking care of me. After breakfast, Tommy brought her a book. The pages were worn soft. Will you read to us? If you want. They gathered around her chair. Even Sarah, pretending she was too old, but listening anyway. Martha read about brave children and far places. Her voice grew stronger with each page. More, Tommy said when she finished a story. More, Ben agreed. She read until her throat was tired. Until the children were drowsy and content. Until the cabin felt like something she remembered from dreams. A place where children asked for stories. Where mother said, yes, you're good at this, Jake said. At what? At being a ma. The words hit her chest like a fist, but good. Like breathing after holding her breath too long. Thank you. Will you stay forever? Martha looked around the cabin. At 4 faces waiting for her answer. I don't know yet. We want you to stay. All of you? All of us. 2 weeks passed. Martha's strength returned. Her voice grew steady. Her hands stopped shaking. Samuel found her in the barn at dawn, feeding the horses. You're feeling better. I am. He leaned against the stall door, watched her brush the mare's coat with sure strokes. Good enough to ride. She looked at him. Something had changed in his face overnight. Something decided where. You know where, she set down the brush. Her heart hammered against her ribs. Why? Because they're still there. Still making decisions about who lives and who dies, and you think we can stop them. I think we can try. Martha stepped out of the stall, faced him fully. What exactly are you suggesting? Justice. That's not an answer. It's the only answer that matters. She walked to the cabin. He followed. Inside, the children were eating breakfast. Sarah looked up as they entered. Pa, you look strange. I'm fine. Samuel opened a wooden chest in the corner, pulled out a rifle, clean, well-maintained, beautiful. That was Mars, Tommy said quietly. Yes. Samuel held the weapon out to Martha. She stared at it. I can't take this. She would want you to have it. You don't know that. I do know that. Martha's fingers touched the smooth wood, the cold metal. It felt right in her hands, like it belonged there. There's something else. Sarah stood, walked to another chest, pulled out a folded dress. Blue cotton, simple, strong. This was Mars, too. Sarah, she was about your size. The girl's voice was steady, adult. She would want you to wear clothes that fit, Martha. Looked at the dress, at the rifle, at 5 faces watching her choose. If I do this, people might get hurt. People are already hurt, Samuel said. I mean killed. Some people deserve killing. Martha held the rifle against her chest, felt its weight, its promise. When do we leave? Now. She changed into the blue dress, braided her hair back tight, checked the rifle's ammunition. Samuel saddled 2 horses while the children watched from the porch. Will you come back? Tommy asked. Yes. Promise? Promise. She mounted the mare. Samuel climbed onto his stallion. They rode toward town under a grey sky. Martha carried death in her hands and hope in her heart. Behind them, 4 children stood silent. Ahead, 12 men waited who had forgotten the weight of consequences. The town square looked smaller than Martha remembered. The same wooden platform where they'd read her sentence. The same courthouse steps where 12 men had decided her fate. Samuel tied the horses to a post. Martha checked her rifle one last time. You ready for this? I've been ready for 3 weeks. Mayor Briggs emerged from the courthouse. Sheriff Coleman followed. Then the others. 12 men in their good coats, just like before. They stopped when they saw her. Martha Hayes. Briggs's voice shook. You're supposed to be dead. Disappointed? You were buried lawfully, according to town ordinance. Whose ordinance? The council's. Martha stepped forward. The rifle hung loose in her hands. Not threatening, just present. I want to tell you something. You have no right to speak here. I have every right. Her voice carried across the square, strong, clear. You buried me for being barren, for failing to give my husband sons. That's correct. You said I was cursed, that I was poisoning the land. Sheriff Coleman's hand moved to his gun. Samuel stepped beside Martha. The sheriff's hand stopped. You were found guilty, Briggs said, by 12 men who never asked why 3 babies died, who never wondered if the problem was the father, not the mother, who never considered that maybe God wasn't punishing anyone. That's blasphemy. That's truth. Martha raised the rifle, pointed it at the ground. You want to know what's really cursed? A town that buries women alive. Men who mistake cruelty for righteousness. The square fell silent. Even the wind stopped. I could kill you all right now. Martha, Samuel warned quietly, but I won't. She lowered the rifle completely. Because I'm not you. She turned her back on the 12 men. Walked to Samuel's horse. Climbed into the saddle. Where are you going? Briggs called. Home. This is your home. Martha looked back one last time. At the platform. The courthouse. The men who had tried to bury her truth along with her body. No, she said. This is just the place I used to live. She rode away with Samuel. Toward the cabin. Toward 4 children who needed her. Toward the ground that had never been cursed. Only waiting.